What if I told you that thousands of people walk into the DMV every single week thinking they're prepared, and then they walk right back out having failed, not because they didn't study, not because they aren't smart enough, but because they studied the wrong version of the test? And here's the scary part. You might be doing the exact same thing right now. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are brand new here, this is the place where we break down everything you need to know to pass your DMV written test on the very first attempt. No fluff, no filler, just the real stuff that actually shows up on your exam. And today's video is genuinely one of the most important ones I've ever made, because we are talking about the 2026 updates to the DMV written test, the actual practice questions that mirror what's currently on the exam, and the specific changes that have caught people completely off guard this year. So smash that like button, drop a comment telling me what state you're testing in, and let's get into it. Let's start with the big picture. The DMV written test is not static. It gets updated regularly to reflect changes in traffic laws, updated road signs, new driving technologies, and shifts in how states want to evaluate driver knowledge. In 2026, several states have rolled out meaningful updates to both the content and format of their knowledge exams. The core structure is still the same. You'll be answering multiple choice questions about road rules, signs, and safe driving practices, but the emphasis has shifted in ways that can absolutely catch you off guard if you're using outdated study materials. Here's what you need to know. First, right-of-way rules are being tested more heavily and more specifically than before. In previous years, many exam questions around right-of-way were fairly general. Now, examiners are going deeper. They want to know what you do at an uncontrolled intersection when two vehicles arrive at exactly the same time. The answer, and you want to burn this into your memory, is that you yield to the vehicle on your right. It doesn't matter the size of the vehicle, it doesn't matter who got there half a second earlier, it's always the driver on the right who has the right of way in that situation. This is one of the most commonly missed questions on current exams, so do not overlook it. Second, questions about following distance and stopping distance have been updated to reflect modern vehicle speeds and highway conditions. The classic rule you've probably heard is the 3-second rule. Maintain at least 3 seconds of following distance behind the car in front of you. But here's what the 2026 exam is now emphasizing. Under adverse conditions, rain, fog, ice, heavy traffic, night driving, that minimum doubles to 6 seconds. And in some state guides, it jumps to 8 or even 10 seconds for larger vehicles. When you see a question that asks how you should adjust your following distance in bad weather, the answer is always to significantly increase it, not just add a second or two. Third, and this is huge, distracted driving questions have expanded considerably. It used to be that a distracted driving question would simply ask whether texting while driving is legal. Now, the exam is going much further. You'll see questions about what counts as a hands-free device, what activities are still considered distracted driving even when you're using a hands-free system, and what the correct behavior is when you feel the urge to check your phone while driving. The answer the DMV is looking for is always to pull over safely before doing anything with your phone, not to use voice commands, not to glance at it quickly, but to pull over completely if interaction is necessary. Now let's talk about road signs, because the sign questions on the 2026 exam have a specific pattern you need to recognize. The shape and color of a sign tells you its purpose before you even read the words. Octagonal shape with a red background, that is always a stop sign. A triangular shape with red and white, that's a yield sign. Orange signs are temporary and almost always related to construction zones. Blue signs on highways indicate services like fuel, food, and lodging. Yellow signs are warnings. Green signs are directional. White signs carry regulatory information like speed limits. One question type that's showing up frequently now asks you to identify a sign based only on its color and shape, without any words. Make sure you can do that confidently. Here's one that people get wrong constantly on the practice portion, the solid white line. When you're driving and you see a solid white line running parallel to your lane, that line is telling you not to change lanes. It's a lane boundary that signals you're approaching an intersection, a hazard, or a restricted area. A broken white line, on the other hand, means you can change lanes when it's safe to do so, and a solid yellow line on your side of the road means no passing in your direction. These seem simple, but under the pressure of the actual exam, confusion happens fast. Let's do some direct practice questions right now, because this is where people need the most help. Here we go. Question. You are approaching a green traffic light, but traffic is backed up on the other side of the intersection. What should you do? The answer is to not enter the intersection. Even with a green light, if you cannot fully clear the intersection before the light changes, you must wait. Entering the intersection and blocking it when the light turns red is called blocking the box, and it is a violation in every state. Question: what does a flashing yellow traffic light mean? It means slow down and proceed with caution. A flashing yellow is not a full stop, that's the flashing red, but you must reduce your speed and be alert for cross traffic or hazards. Question: when can you legally pass on the right? You can pass on the right only when the vehicle ahead is making a left turn and there's enough road to safely do so, or when driving on a one-way street with multiple lanes of traffic. You cannot pass on the right by leaving the paved roadway. Question: you are driving on a freeway at 65 miles per hour. How far ahead should you be looking? The answer is approximately a quarter mile ahead, which is about 12 to 15 seconds of travel time at highway speeds. This allows you to spot hazards and respond without panic braking. Question: what is the first thing you should do when your vehicle starts to skid? Ease off the accelerator and steer in the direction you want the front of the vehicle to go. Do not brake hard, that makes the skid worse. This is called steering into the skid, and it's the correct technique for regaining control. Now let's talk about something critical that most people skip entirely: the alcohol and driving section. This part of the exam has also been updated in 2026 with more nuance. Yes, the legal blood alcohol content limit for drivers 21 and over is 0.08% in most states, but the exam now frequently asks about the zero tolerance policy for drivers under 21, which in most states sets the legal limit at 0.1 or 0.02% and essentially zero. There are also questions about whether you can legally drive after drinking if you feel fine, and the correct answer is no, because alcohol impairs judgment before it impairs physical coordination, meaning you may feel capable of driving long before you actually are. Another area getting more attention in 2026 is highway merging and lane discipline. You'll see questions about who has the right of way when merging onto a highway, and the answer is that drivers already on the highway have the right of way, while merging drivers must adjust their speed to find a safe gap. You'll also see questions about where you should position yourself before making a turn, whether it's a left or right turn. Always move into the correct lane well before you reach the turn, signal early, and approach from the correct position. One final area: parking laws. The exam tests your knowledge of when and where parking is prohibited. You cannot park within 15 feet of a fire hydrant. You cannot park in front of a driveway, you cannot park on a sidewalk or in a crosswalk, and you cannot park within 20 feet of an intersection in most states. These numbers come up on the test, and they're easy to forget under pressure, so go back and study them specifically. And that brings me to my biggest piece of advice before your exam. Do not study from memory alone. Do not rely on what you think you remember from driving over the years. Get your state's current driver handbook. It is available for free on your state's DMV website, and read it. Then come back to this channel because I have state-specific practice test videos that are updated for 2026, including breakdowns for California, Texas, Florida, New York, and more. The link to the full practice test playlist is in the description below. You've got this. The written test is not there to trick you. It's there to make sure you understand how to keep yourself and everyone else on the road safe. Study the right material, take your time on each question, and trust what you've learned. I believe in you, and I'll see you in the next video.